Hi there, Shortcuts. This is video 2 for the price list that will go out this Wednesday, 9 p.m. Sydney time. That is October 30th. If you are not on my price list and would like to be, drop me an email, shortcutsrecordsaus@gmail.com. This is the second list. I did an earlier list of classic rock, punk, and pop. This is genres. So we got cosmic country, we've got dub, but we also have something a little bit different, which is a selection of Vinyl Me Please records. As you all know, Vinyl Me Please have now fired all of their international subscribers, no longer taking international memberships and slowly expunging international members from their subscribers, which is a real shame. I have got 2 more months, and so what I thought I would do is show you a selection of what I think are really superb Vinyl Me Please records that I still have the opportunity to order, and I will do them all for you guys at the price that Vinyl Me Please charges me, which I think is around $65, just because it's going to be super hard to get these soon, and I thought I'd extend the offer. So if there are any of these Vinyl Me Please records that I'm going to get to in a few minutes that you would like me to order, I've got a few copies here, but I'll put some orders in. Please note them down and send me a note, shortcutsrecords@gmail.com. Okay, but I have a couple of things that I want to talk about before I get to the list of Vinyl Me Please, and I've got some really interesting blues as well. So last week, and maybe in various weeks, you will see me wearing this t-shirt. Gene Clark, No Other, an absolutely wonderful record, I think it's 1976. Coined the phrase cosmic country. What you get is incredibly ornate, dramatic music, melodious, emotional songs like Some Misunderstanding, who Mark Lanigan majestically covered, or Silver Raven, and in fact, any of the 8 songs. This is a genuinely great record. And the thing about this year's Record Store Day, I'm not really a Record Store Day person. I did a couple of little radio segments for Record Store Day this year for ABC, but I don't buy much. I don't really find anything that I want to pay the premium for. But I did this year, and it's because of its links to this record. I bought this, the double album No Other Sessions. I'm just going to read what this says. After hundreds of spins of the original, it feels odd to hear these lavish songs stripped down, like glimpsing the Sistine Chapel through scaffolding, or seeing Prince in a pair of sweatpants. The cumulative effect both demystifies No Other whilst exalting it. That's from the review on Pitchfork. So effectively, this is a 50th anniversary celebration of No Other, where you get a track by track noted breakdown of how Gene Clark got to this legendary record. It is immaculately pressed. The vinyl is wonderful, quiet, bassy. The songs are superb. I mean, when you've got songs as good as these 8, listening to them as they evolve is an absolute pleasure. So you get version 2 of Silver Raven, version 3 of Some Misunderstanding, the original first run through No Other, the title track, which is spare and beautiful. I think it's the best Record Store Day release there's been. I can't think of it. Certainly, although I am not a record store day aficionado, so I'm sure there are some of you on the list who understand it better than me. I love this. I got an extra copy, and on that basis, I'm going to pass it on. Yeah, it's just lovely, and what just gets me is how well the recordings stand up. They sound absolutely delicious. The No Other Sessions Record Store Day release, still sealed. Highly, highly recommended. All right, now I have a selection of still in press, at least for now, Vinyl Me Please records. These are ones that I've really enjoyed over the years that they still have, which means that I can order them. And so what as I said at the top, I'll just reiterate, if there are any of these that you fancy, just let me know. shortcutsrecordsaus@gmail.com, either by replying to the preview email or the Wednesday night email to grab some of these that I've got, or email me in advance, because I may as well put the order in, and if there are any that you're missing from your collection that you regret not grabbing, etc., as I said, I'll just do them at cost price, which I think will be about 65 Aussie dollars. So there's 1, 2, I've picked out 3, 4, 5, 6, and with a few examples I can actually show. There's about 7 or 8 here. Won't take me too long to go through them, but I think you'll appreciate them. Now, I would say one of the early just stellar records that Vinyl Me Please did was the first ever vinyl pressing of Fiona Apple's Tidal. Now, they did it 45 RPM. Beautiful gatefold sleeve. Super heavy vinyl. I mean, it's got to be 200 gram vinyl. You can see the inner. As I said, 45 RPM. A lovely booklet that goes with it, telling you the story. Well, but not so much the story, more kind of lyrics and additional photos. Deep black, heavy vinyl, 45 RPM. Really interesting record. Announced herself to the world, Fiona Apple. First time on vinyl, remastered from the original analog tapes. Yeah, 180 gram, 45 RPM. They still have that because they repressed it recently. If you don't have it, it sounds stellar. Really interesting record as well. Okay, now of the recent records of the month, this is the one that I've enjoyed the most. It is Black Moses by Isaac Hayes. It also comes with a booklet, absolutely beautiful. I'm going to show you a little bit of it here. You get this fold-out poster. It's massive. It folds out like about the height of me. And it's of course the iconic Black Moses pose that Isaac Hayes had. The original Black Moses, the whole record folded out like that, but how Vinyl Me Please did it was they made this poster. The record itself is lush and beautiful. You will recognize samples from really famous songs all over the place. It's a double LP, triple A, lacquers cut from the original master tapes by Ryan Smith at Sterling Sound, pressed on blue vinyl, and there's listening notes as well, which are actually really good. Highly, highly recommended. Now, Vinyl Me Please also do what they call exclusives. These are records that are exclusive to them. They press in limited amounts. And this has been one of my most enjoyable that I've got this year. It's called Los Reyes 73. It's really vibrant kind of Afro-Cuban funk. Really cool, deeply groovy, great bass licks. It's on this kind of transparent purple vinyl that kind of matches this color tone here. Um, it's really cool, and I'd never heard of them. This is part of the pleasure of Vinyl Me Please. I had no idea this even existed. Um, it was limited to only 300. I think they've only got a few left. So if this is something that you're into, hit me up sooner rather than later, and I'll see if I can get you a copy. Okay, now going back, one of their earlier records of the month that I absolutely fell for was this one. And I know quite a few of you bought it when I could get it, and it was this. Aretha Franklin's I've Never Loved a Man the Way I Love You. Respect, I Never Loved a Man, Soul Serenade, Dr. Feelgood, Do Right Woman, Do Right Man, Save Me, A Change Is Gonna Come. It's a beautiful mono tip-on record, but what I love is you get this absolutely beautiful art print. You get the listening notes that tell you the story of the record, but it has to be one of the most beautiful presses that Vinyl Me Please ever did. Look at this. Isn't that gorgeous? And it sounds every bit as good as it looks. Now, they still have a few of these left. I don't know how many. If you don't have Aretha, Vinyl Me Please's Aretha's are superb, as is this. Now, I have got some Stevie Ray Vaughan blues coming, but this is the Vinyl Me Please. I'm sorry about the glare, because it's got this kind of foil finish. This is their most recent Can't Stand the Weather on this kind of purple shaded variant. It's really, really nice sounding record. Has these listening notes. There he is, Stevie Ray Vaughan. Just the story of the record that you can read along to. They've still got some copies of that. Now, of all of the records that are left, I cannot believe this hasn't sold out. I suspect they must have repressed it. This is Spiritualized. Ladies and gentlemen, we are floating in space. And, fully copied the original concept. It absolutely looks like a pillbox. It's got, this is the poster. What is Spiritualized used for? Spiritualized is used to treat the heart and soul. Absolutely wonderful. Original artwork by Spaceman. And each of the records come in this kind of quite medical leaflet in this deep blue vein. It's just a lovely, lovely, lovely thing. Just, again, they still have some copies. If you don't have it, well worth it. Now, my favorite of their records of the month last year was Herbie Hancock's Sextant. Oh, so funky and groovy, and it makes total sense having seen Herbie Hancock live a couple of weeks back at 84 years of age. This is 50th anniversary edition of Herbie's futuristic funk masterpiece, AAA lacquers cut from the tapes by Ryan Smith on lunar marble, and the listening notes for this were by a guy called Marcus J. Moore, and they're really, really good. And that's the art print at the back, which is, Herbie in full live mode. And it is wonderful that he's just doing as well as he is. And then finally, this was a record of the month from earlier this year that just surprised me with how good it sounds, and B, how much I've enjoyed it. And it is not one that I was expecting to love as much as I do. It is Here's Little Richard, the debut album by Little Richard from, I think maybe 55 or 56. The origins of rock and roll. It is an absolute just tidal wave of grooves and personality and funk. I can't. There's look. I love the back of it. I cannot believe how good it is. In this case, though, not cut by Ryan Smith, which is interesting for Vinyl Me Please. In this case, they were cut by Barry Grint, pressed on exclusive 180 gram slipping and sliding vinyl. Listening notes by Jericho Brown, who I think had written some biographies of Little Richard. Little Richard, of course, playing pretty close to the line with his sexuality and how he could be perceived within rock and roll. I love the silver foil. The whole thing is just super, super high quality. It's just a wonderful thing. So if you're interested in picking up any of those, make sure let me know, and I will get some orders in before the shutters come down on Vinyl Me Please. Now, you saw Can't Stand the Weather on the Vinyl Me Please pressing. I have two absolutely beautiful copies of the records that surrounded that. I've got absolutely pristine copies of his debut, Texas Flood, and his final record, In Step. Both of these get stellar reviews. Both have perfect copies of the inners. They sound great. Totally superb vinyl quality. You can't go wrong. All right, just a few more blues to go, a little bit of jazz, a little bit of soul, and then I'm going to finish on some Japanese city pop. This is a little bit different. This is a band called Savoy Brown, and this is the quite rare Aussie first press of maybe their best album, Raw Sienna. You can see there that it used to belong to one Mandy McCarthy. Made and distributed in Australia by Decca. Now, this is the original red Decca on fantastic vinyl. Just a really interesting band. This is a band that played for decades. They released 30, 40 albums, but the ones that you really need are the late 60s, early 70s, of which Raw Sienna, I think, is the best. If you love your blues rock, you probably know Savoy Brown already. Okay, actually, I'll put a little bit more blues down and then we'll move on. So, Tedeschi Trucks, including some players from Fish and others. So these are the kind of top end US jam bands, and they released a triple album where they played the entire Layla double album by Derek and the Dominoes in totality on triple LP, triple vinyl, high quality. If you love Layla, if you love blues and blues bands, then this thing just and what I love about the story of this is that the people who turned up, but I think it was an arena in LA, they didn't know this is what was going to happen. And so you can hear that excitement in the crowd as they realize what's happening. They start with I Looked Away, Bell Bottom Blues, Keep On Growing, all the way through The Little Wing, Layla, I'm Yours. It is the entirety of the original Layla and Assorted Love Songs. That's pretty cool, I think. All right, we've got 5 more to go and I'll flick through them pretty quickly. I've always loved Grant Green, and particularly when Grant Green plays with my favourite jazz musician, Ike Quebec. This was recorded in 62, the year before, maybe 63, the year before Ike Quebec passed away with lung cancer, although you would not know it from his playing on here. He was a bit older than Grant Green, but they always had this amazing symmetry and understanding. Grant Green on Grant Green guitar, Ike Quebec on tenor sax. This also includes, though, Sonny Clark on piano, Sam Jones on bass, Louis Hayes on drums. And what was amazing is that this went unpublished, right? 20 years, 30 years. And this is also a Japanese promo copy. That is Born to Be Blue by the legendary Grant Green. All right, I've got to put some soul in, and I'm going to go with Clarence Carter's classic A Heart Full of Song, 1976. Just a full-on soul kind of explosion, lovely energy, just a beautiful thing. I think, yeah, this is the US first press. Okay, three very different records to finish with. I'm going to put this up. This is a Japanese white label promo of a band you've probably never heard of called Alice. Now, Alice were a Japanese kind of folk rock band that absolutely dominated the charts in Japan in the 70s. If you look at the list on Discogs of the 20 biggest selling records in Japan in the 70s, you'll see some familiar names on there. You will also see 2 or 3 records from Alice. These guys were massive. It's really melodic. It's got this, let me show you. It's got this book with it to kind of, you can get your Google Translate out to understand the lyrics. It's really melodic, beautifully recorded on a white label promo. Not very many of these around. If you want to experiment with something that's not very expensive but really interesting, give it a go. It's only going to be about $20, but it's worth it. I think they're really interesting. Alice, and continuing on the Japanese theme, this time something that's a little bit more famous if you know your city pop. Summertime Romance by Toshiki Korematsu. This is also a white label promo, and this is a full-on city pop masterpiece, but it is designed to play like a radio show. He did a follow-up a few years later, which was also huge, but this is the original first press promo. Songs are in English and very kind of typical city pop, very melodious, kind of clean cut synth pop. Just very Japanese, very quirky, very interesting. All right, finally, Lee Scratch Perry, some dub reggae called New Sound Inversion. This is a celebration of the New Sound label where some of their artists went back and picked their favorite Lee Scratch drop from typically the 70s and redid it. But you get some really deep cut, serious bass wobble dub and cover versions of the likes of Iron Man by Black Sabbath. This is a UK first press. This will rock your bass. Deeply interesting, really cool record. So there you have it, the genre list for this week. If you would like to order or put a request in for any of those Vinyl Me Please presses, drop me an email, shortcutsrecordsaus@gmail.com. Love the Gene Clark No Other Sessions. Lots of interesting blues, some city pop, some quirk in there this week, but that's all part of the fun. If you made it this far, thank you so much. Please leave me a comment, a like, all those stuff, all that kind of stuff. Makes me feel alive and that this is worthwhile. Watch out for the price list, 9 p.m. Wednesday, Shortcuts Records out. Thank you.